Speaking of unexciting trades,
Beautiful.
the other two. New England Patriots made 2 trades yesterday.
One of these excites me a bit.
They're both interesting. Kyle Duggar, the safety, has been traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now they're without Deshaun Elliott at safety, and they need him for this year.
You already have the most expensive defense in the NFL. Why not add another guy to it?
Duggar, it seemed like he's had a strange season for New England. So they've got Mike Vrabel obviously coming in this year. There was a point in Duggar he was signed for a lot of money from the previous regime. I thought that was questionable at the time because he's limited in coverage in man or zone, especially zone. He's very good in and around the line of scrimmage as far as stopping the run. So he's like your classic old school box safety. You got paid a lot of money. Patriots are going to pick up the rest of his contract, so it's kind of a freebie for the Steelers this year, and then they voided the rest of his contract. So he'll be a free agent. But the Steelers needed to fill a need. They have a box safety. Duggar had everyone in New England thought he was going to get traded during training camp. And then all of a sudden he starts the season and he's playing a little bit. But they've already tried to get younger at safety anyway, so he was odd man out. But for Pittsburgh, fills a hole with Deshaun Elliott going down.
Yeah, like you said, so Rap Sheet had details on the contract. The Patriots are paying most of the $5.4 million that's left in Kyle Duggar's original base of almost $10 million, plus the roster bonus to complete the deal. The final 2 years have been wiped out, so the Steelers are getting him for not much money at all. He is under 30, which is a useful element for them. But Duggar is a guy that's always been more potential than productivity, I believe.
What he can do, potentially, is cover tight ends. And the Steelers have been awful covering tight ends. And as they dabble in a little bit more man coverage, if he's the one manning up rather than the 2 linebackers going like this, maybe, I don't know who's coming. I don't know.
Maybe the solution to the 2 linebackers shouting at each other for which one blew the assignment is to just give it to Kyle Duggar instead.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed. So let's change that. Hit that subscribe button. And now let's get back to the action. So I think that it could be a good fit there for Pittsburgh. The other one, the one that I know that you're more interested in, Keion White.
Yeah.
The edge rusher for New England who moves around the defensive front, gets traded to the San Francisco 49ers. And he's a guy that got phased out a little bit in New England. Mm-hmm. Had a really good season last year. And just in limited time this year had been benched, had been sitting, not a part of the rotation, not creating pressure. PFF win rate was like 3%, something really low and awful. And some weird plays in the run game. But the Niners, who need pass rush help, get a guy that's at least done it before, even if he's not doing it this year.
Yeah, I mean, from New England's perspective, they're getting rid of a couple of guys that Mike Vrabel clearly didn't like, right? Or not personally, but as players. Vrabel clearly did not have a ton of time for the potential of Kyle Duggar and Keion White, and so they had already been phased out within the New England defense, and they're just cashing in on them. Tom Pelissero says the Patriots now own 10 picks in the 2026 draft, all in the first 6 rounds, and also the 7th-round conditional pick for San Francisco for Keion White. He needs to be active for 7 games for that to even kick in. So potentially they could own 11 picks in the draft.
Wow.
This is a team looking to draft a lot next year. The Keion White thing, I think, is intriguing because on the one hand, as you said, improbably unproductive this year. Like, absurdly small pass rush win rate for a guy with his physical tools. Anyone sort of casting their mind back for what he was as a draft prospect, this like monstrous, powerful, athletic, huge defensive lineman whose tape sort of suggested that he had no earthly idea what he was really doing, right? He was just this like manic bull in a china shop type of defensive lineman where a lot of his plays in college were just winning through being bigger, stronger, more athletic. And you're like, man, if they just teach him to like what he's doing, he could be really productive. And
especially he was a converted tight end too. So
he was like young to the position.
Right. Older player, but young at the position.
And you're like going to New England where they still had Belichick, at the time, you're like, theoretically, that's a mouth-watering landing spot for him. And it kind of worked. I mean, he was moving in the right direction up until Vrabel comes in and decides he's not actually that good and sort of reduces his role, which then coincides with him basically being not productive whatsoever. From the 49ers perspective, I mean, we said, look, they don't have any talent really on the defensive line right now. It's all young, it's all rookies because Nick Bosa got hurt. It was already Nick Bosa and friends. They need somebody. And, we had been connecting them with guys like Jalen Phillips from Miami. And look, if you want immediate impact, I would imagine a guy like Jalen Phillips is a much more attractive option. Maybe they called, maybe Miami said no thanks. Keion White's an intriguing body, though, to add to that. I mean, Robert Saleh has done a lot of very good work with defensive linemen in the past. He's maximized the impact of some guys that he's had on the roster, both with the Jets and with the 49ers. Keion White has at least shown he can be a productive player in the NFL in the past. I think this is a really good roll of the dice from the 49ers. And from the Patriots' perspective, I mean, they're not getting much back, but it was for a player that they clearly don't really value. So what the hell?
Yeah, and White's moved around the defensive front, as I said earlier. He'll rush from the interior.
And he's got the size to rush inside. Like he's a great fit, I think, for this 49ers defense.
Run game wise too, he had some weird plays. I mean, when coaches bench players or players are no longer in the good graces of the coaches, a lot of times it's like simple stuff in the run game and him losing contain or getting blown off the ball. There was a lot of bad run game reps in there for White too. For a guy that should be
dominant,
should be a game wrecking type, right? There should be the how we describe Shamar Stewart, this like bull in a china shop type of disruptive plays, and there's been elements of that, spurts of that in Keion White's career. So the Niners will try to get some consistency out of him. I like it as a buy low for the 49ers, for a guy that's in year 4 that, could potentially put it together.
Yeah.
It is year 4 for him, right? So those are the trades. Other stuff around the league. And by the way, so the trade deadline's next week. Hoping next Monday or Tuesday we'll get some more action when it comes to trades. We'll see how it plays out here.
It's only 3. They still got 1 year left of Keion White, I believe.
This is year 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another element of this is theoretically if he at least shows promise, they have him next year as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant in my head, and then I said 4. Perfect. Well done.
I can relate to having a random conniption live on the air.
Tune in tomorrow when Sam analyzes the wrong game, and you never
not the wrong game, just the wrong team in
the
there,
wrong
right?
Team
the right game, wrong team.
From last week instead of this.
Yeah,
it's great.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.